Whiskey friends, far and wide, we are live. Happy 2024, y'all. I'm Eric, your humble malt muser. Beaming the Whiskey Tube signal from my home base, Chicago, Illinois. How is everybody? I hope your new year's off to a good start. I have a couple whiskeys to kick off things here in January. We're going to uncork a Balblair and taste a Springbank 21. Really looking forward to enjoying these. If you got something that you can put in your glass, do so. Let's have a dram. Before we start and get into the chat, I do know that there's one person that won't be joining us in the chat today, and that is Whiskey Straight Al. Whiskey Straight Al from Northern Ireland passed away a few months back. And, he the only thing that was bigger than his heart was his generosity. He was a really great guy. Had a lot of great chats with him, swapped some samples with him, and he's very much missed. So I am drinking a little red breast here. I'll raise this up to Whiskey Straight Al. All right. With that, let's get into it. Before we start things off, I'm going to see who is hanging out in the chat. We got some folks in here already, man. So I want to say hi to people. It's been a little while since I've been live. That is for sure. First in the door today, looks like it was Mr. French saying, looking forward to this. Great to see you too, French. How are things in Duluth? There's Keen Dreams in Buffalo. How's it going, man? What is good in Buffalo? Sorry about your loss. I know how it feels. Mr. White, our boy up in Ontario. What's good, Mr. White? How are you, man? Hope your holidays and New Year was good. Great to see you. Carl's in the house. Oh, man. Carl, over there in Belgium, man. What's up, buddy? How are you, sir? Great to see you, man. There's our boy with the wrench somewhere along the Louisiana, East Texas border. It's Daniel H. Cheers, man. I'm going to finish this red breast off for Whiskey Straight Al, and then we'll get into things. Man, we got some folks hanging out. Oh, Teddy. What's up, man? I'm glad to be back. It has been way too long. It really has. I've been a little bit off the grid, but glad to be back and hanging out, and we're going to drink some good whiskey. Hope you can hang out for a while, Teddy. Good to see you, man. Brad Porter's in the house. What's up, Brad? How you doing, buddy? It's lunch. Awesome, man. We got 9 folks in already. France. We got Belgium. I'm getting some of my European friends in. Awesome. It's good to see everybody. All right, y'all. So I do have 2 whiskeys that we're gonna drink on here. The first one, though, is going to be this Balblair. So I'm actually going to pour this Springbank 21 into a clean Glencairn right now, because to be honest with you, it needs a little time to breathe. So I'm going to get this in the glass. I did pick this up as a little bit of a New Year's treat. Curious if any of you guys got any new bottles over the last few months or over the holidays. Anything you're excited about? Anything you're looking forward to this year? Would love to hear about it. So while this Springbank gets its oxygen, I am going to get into this Balblair here. So if you're familiar with Balblair, rather, if you're familiar with them recently, this may look rather foreign to you. This is what Balblair, how they used to present their whiskeys in a vintage form like this. They now do an age statement. They don't put out these vintages anymore. I kind of think that's a bummer. But you can still find them every once in a while. And so the one we're going to look at here today is the Balblair 1999 batch second release. So I'm going to get this in the glass. I'll tell you a little bit about it. Would love to hear if folks have any thoughts on Balblair. I have really not had much of the new releases from them since they kind of moved to the age statement. Not because I'm like angry about it. I've just not felt compelled to pick one up per se. But I've heard decent things about it. So if anybody has actually got to have one, I'd love to hear it. These are the beautiful Balblair bottles. 1999. This was bottled in 2015. So this is like a 15-year-old whiskey. It is 46%. It is natural color and non-chill filtered, which is great. Unclear what it's aged in. We'll find out. I'm going to get this thing popped. One of the first, I guess, wow whiskeys I ever had was actually a Balblair 1990. It was a 25-year-old. And that whiskey totally blew my mind. And since then, I've been kind of a fan of their stuff. But like I said, I haven't had any of the new ones. So I'd be curious if any of y'all have had any of their new ones. So here, it's got a ton of tasting notes. It's got a story about the vintage. I'm just trying to look and see if they have anything about the actual bottling, what it's in. I'm guessing it's a bourbon sherry mix. Tough to say. Doesn't say anything in here. But they do give us some good info, right? Non-chill, natural, all good things. Okay, well, that sits in the glass and get some oxygen. Let me see what's going on. We got 13 folks in. What is up? How's it going? Indy, how you doing, man? Yeah, it has been a while. Glad to hop back on. How are you? Spring 21, 450. Man, I wish it was 450 euros here. I did splurge a bit. It was not a cheap one, unfortunately, but we're going to talk about it. We'll see if it was actually worth it. Maybe. Carl says the Balblair vintage releases mostly terrific and affordable. Yes, they really were. It's unfortunate that they're becoming more and more scarce. But like I said, I've not had any of the new age-stated Balblairs. So if anybody's had them, I'd be curious to hear what folks have to say. Mr. White, always a favorite, still kept one on the bar. Wow, 135 Canadian. No age-stated Balblairs for Carl. Okay. Yeah, man, it's nuts. We'll talk about that in a second for sure. Okay. Well, it's good to see folks. Man, we got 13, 14 in. That's awesome, man. I know this was a little bit impromptu, but okay, so here we go. So it is the 1990 or 1999 vintage. Again, Balblair. Second release, non-chill natural, 46%. 15 years old, maybe 16. I don't know. That is a natural color. Yeah, right. And again, like I said, I really love Balblair. I went to a bar in DC when I lived there, and they had the Balblair 90, that red one. It's a 25-year-old, and they had it for criminally cheap prices because nobody was buying it because nobody knew what Balblair was. And I got to get myself a couple drams of it, and I was so blown away. I ended up hunting down 2 bottles of it. So I've really, really enjoyed that one. This one I have never had, but I've heard good things. So 1999 second release. Nice little rush hour traffic drive home dram. Unless you're already home, right? Here we go. Balblair, 1999 batch 2. Oh, I should say the price. So, like, again, these kind of vary, right? I mean, you can't really find them too frequently, usually overseas. I mean, you'll probably pay like 120, 130 for it. I don't know if it's worth it. We'll find out. Here we go. Man, it's got a really sprightly kind of fresh note on the nose, man. This is much different than that older one, obviously. Sweet tropical fruit, grassy. It almost reminds me a little bit of like a Bruichladdich. It's really nice. I think there's sherry in this. Is a nice little sherry note. Let's give it a taste. Okay. Wow. They don't make 15s like this anymore. So I'm assuming this is 15 years old, like I said. I'm going to show you this bottle one more time. The palate is surprisingly rich. Like surprisingly rich. There's a lot of that kind of sherry bourbon cask mix notes coming in. Vanilla, a little bit of oakiness. But there's this ginger spice almost, man. Not like gingerbread, like pickled ginger. grassy, herbal. It's kind of, yeah, it's in that range for sure. Oh, this is wild. So Mr. White said this was always a favorite of his. Finish is medium on this. Honestly, like, in a good way, this is a summer dram, man. This is I wish it was like that outside. Right now it's probably 30 degrees Fahrenheit and raining here in Chicago. Okay. Interesting. Peter White, you mentioned that you'd had this before. I'd be curious what you thought of it. Yeah. Let me catch up. Gordon MacPhail cast strength sherry. Dude, I have a Gordon MacPhail Balblair 21, but it's only 43%. You know how those go. Top shelf dust. Hey, man. How's it going, dude? Happy New Year. We got a baller in the house, Springbank 21. Yeah, dude. Little holiday gift. Nice to see you, man. How's it going? Yeah, you know, every once in a while, right? Get lucky. Springbank 21, locally more than 325s. Damn. No nonsense is in the house. What's up? How's it going? Good evening. Yeah, we're going to talk. Dude, for real. We're going to talk a little bit about that Springer shit in a second here. So this Balblair, I got to say, like, this is something I want to drink in, like, May on a porch. It's got some of those kind of herbal, almost grassy notes. Hey, Winston the Whiskey Cat has showed up. What's up? Happy New Year from Winston the Whiskey Cat. What's up, man? What do you think of the Balblair? He don't like nothing, you know? It smells younger than it tastes, if that makes any sense. It's all right. We'll put some water on it. Man, you know, some people say about, like, the nose belies the taste, right? Like, the nose is great, but then you, like, get into the taste and it's not nearly as good. This one is the opposite. The nose is really not all that interesting, but the mouthfeel and the delivery on this is pretty nice. I'm going to put a couple drops of water in here. What do you think? I can tell you guys, Winston the Whiskey Cat has been as deciphering in his taste as ever. Even with water, he wants nothing to do with this Balblair. Yeah, you sweet boy. All right, here we go. Okay, so here we go. Orchard fruits. This thing just popped alive with water. Again, now this is a nice summer whiskey. I can tell you that right now. Should you spend $125 on it? No. No, I wouldn't. It's okay. I think there's other things you can get in this range. I mean, hey, what's up, dude? You coming up here? He's just trying to be all up in this, man. So there's a couple other whiskeys that I think you could find that are cheap in this. I mean, so I guess the bottom line is this, right? I haven't had any of those new age statement Balblairs. So I can't really speak to them. I've heard mixed things about them, but I'm sure some of them are fine. These vintages, you know, you hunt for them, you see them, you want to buy them. The older ones I've been much more impressed with than the younger, which is probably always the case, but this is all right. It's nothing real special. There's a nice sherry note, though. This has definitely got a urban sherry thing on. Much better with water. It still has this kind of young, malty notes to it, though, despite the age. Kind of astringent finish. Yeah, I don't know. Now, back in the day when this was sitting on a shelf somewhere, you know, you'd probably find this for like $60, $70 USD. That one might have been worth the flyer. At the price you'd probably pay for this now, nah, this is a pass. Honestly, this is, you know, for me on my 5-point scale, like a 3 is a medium, 3 is average because it's generous. This is probably right there, maybe a little bit lower. It's really not anything special. I'm a little bummed. Yeah, we'll give it some time. Maybe I'll do a full review. I should mention I will have my first review of the year coming up, and as I always do, I usually kick off the year with a Glenmorangie. I will have a Glenmorangie review. Tale of Tokyo. That'll be the one. I actually had the good opportunity to go to Tokyo a couple weeks ago. And so I didn't buy that there. And they don't use Mizunara very much in Japan. I can report that back. They definitely seem to be, it's not the huge craze as it may be here. All right, it's fine. A decidedly fine whiskey. Put it next to a Bruichladdich classic. Was it the classic Lottie or the 10 or whatever? I don't know. It's kind of in the same range. It just has this astringent bite to it that's like hit or miss for me. Not worth the price. If you see it, I wouldn't. If you pull the trigger on it, I wouldn't pull it expecting much. In the way of an amazing whiskey, but it's solid. Yeah, I'll sit in that 3 range, man. This is a straight up 3. Not great, not bad. So look at all the dust on this thing too, man. Shit. I think I have 2 of them too. God damn. I don't know where I find this shit. Anyways, we got 17 folks in. I gotta come back here in the chat and catch up with folks, man. It's good to see everybody. It has been a while since I've done a live. I've been a little bit off the grid. So it's cool to get to hang out with everybody. Here's Dustin. Springbanks or Shelfers here again, but they aren't priced. Yeah, dude. We're gonna talk. We're all gonna get to vent about Springbank in a minute. Yeah. Okay. Glencaddam 13 Reawakening is a great whiskey to compare to this Balblair. Much cheaper, better. It's truth. It's not good, man. What's been happening with this? I don't get it. I have a batch 2, the 1999. I think it was 99.99 for it. I was pretty good with it. Yeah, that's what this one is. This is the second release. I don't like. I've never seen any of the other ones. Yeah, it's a decidedly fine whiskey. I did. I bought 2 of them. Yeah, I brought them back. I also got some travel retail Yamazakis and Habikis, which I think I will be doing on a future live not too long from now. They have 2 new ones that just got released, and I snagged them up in travel retail. So we'll see what happens. But I did bring back 2 Wild Turkey 12s, which again, so they have a Wild Turkey 12-year-old 101 overseas, and it was like $40. Yeah, I grabbed 2 of those. Yeah, for sure, man. So to be fair, Springbanks have actually gone down in price outside this. Is that true? I don't know about that. Yeah. So I'm sitting at a solid 3 on this. I mean, I think the price kills it. I think it could be pretty interesting as Oxygen works on it, but the price is just not worth buying this whiskey unless you just want to put it on your shelf and have the cool fluorescent colorful boxes, which I wish they wouldn't have got rid of because these are awesome. Has anybody had the new Balblair? I know somebody said the 15 was okay. Anybody had like the 18 or the what's that other one? They have a 12, I think. Probably a 25. I haven't had any of them. I don't like the way their new labels look, but I'm not trying to be like that guy, I think that they had a good thing going, but they're trying to make money. I get it. As long as the whiskey's good, I don't care. Yeah. That's hit or miss. Springer 10s, y'all talking about. Okay, cool. We got 18 folks in. What's up, y'all? Sorry for all the Springbank talk. When I see, oh yeah, we're gonna do that right now because I've had this thing sitting here for just about 19 minutes. So let's get into it. The Balblair is a little bit of a nothing burger. However, let's talk about Springbank 21. This is the first bottle of Springbank 21 I've ever owned, and probably the last one I'll ever own. Look at the comments if you want to know why. Here it is. This is the 2023 release. And just so folks are aware, Springbank is not great with telling you information about their whiskey, which I wish they would do a little bit more of. It just says 46% on it. We know it's probably non-chill and natural, but here is the cask breakdown of this bottle. So this one is 45% bourbon casks, 20% sherry, 20% rum, and 15% port. And the thing that I want to focus on in terms of this whiskey in particular is that rum cask. That is not something that I usually gravitate towards with scotches, and we can talk a bit about that. But I think this might be the first 21-year-old Springbank that they've done with rum, any rum cask, at least recently. So we're going to get into this in a second. Let me just catch up on the chat. Balblair just released a new 21-year-old coordinator. Very expensive, 300 euros. That seems to be the going price for a 21 these days. It sucks. Casting. Dude, yeah. Yeah, so let's get into this. Let's talk about Springbank. So, yeah, obviously I bought a really fucking expensive Springbank. And, you know, I lived in Chicago for 2.5 years, almost 3. I can remember even as much as a year and a half ago, I could walk into some of the local stores and they would have Springbank 12 cask drinks at $129. I think you're lucky to find that under $250 now. It gets insane. And I've heard that like, oh, the Asian market's gotten really turned on to Springbank and there's scarcity and all this, but like the Springbank prices are outrageous. I have some old ones that I've, grabbed over the years, but it's a real bummer. It's a real bummer. Like you can't even buy a Springbank 10 for under $100 anymore. At least not here in Chicago. Maybe there are in some other places, but now, like if the thing about it is it just seems like Springbank's prices have went up faster or more dramatically than a lot of other distilleries, right? So like there's clearly a demand specifically for them. I mean, Ardbegs aside, so, I already know that, what I paid for this is probably not worth it. I did it just on a whim. And, it's going to be a good whiskey. I've had a dram of it. It's been a while, but I'm going to have another one right here with you guys. But like, come on, let's get real. Is this whiskey really worth, hundreds and hundreds of dollars that they ask for this shit? I don't know. It seems a little bit, I don't know what the prices were for this, but I'm talking specifically about like the 12 cask strength and the 10. The 10 used to be 69. The 12 cask strength was like 110. And look, prices go up, inflation, whatever. But like, this has been dramatic. I think it's been the last 2 years. And all of a sudden, you can't find those things on the shelf anywhere. It's turning into like the next Weller or some shit, except it's actually good. Anyways, so the tail of the tape on this Springbank, again, this is the packaging it comes in. Minimalist, which is what you always love. Yeah, 46%. It doesn't tell you jack about anything on here. Let's see what it says here. Craftsmanship, blah, 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 floor malting. But yeah, so we're looking at 4 different maturations for undisclosed amounts of time: bourbon, sherry, rum, and port. That is the color. Definitely a natural one. And I think one of the things about this is rum, for me personally, I've not really ever found a single malt that was rum finished or rum matured that I ever thought it really added much to it. I'm thinking about Ardbeg Drum, Balvenie, the Balvenie, what is it? Caribbean cask. I think there's a Cavalan rum, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I feel like rum is such a powerful flavor that you end up just tasting rum more than you taste whiskey. And let's see what Winston the Whiskey Cat thinks of the Springer. Absolutely rejects it. Let's see what we're working with here. If anybody else has had this, I'd love to hear. Top Shelf Dustins, if you email Springer, they generally tell you exactly what's in it. That's dope. They have used rum before. Okay. I don't know when that would have been. I think I only tasted a 21-year-old maybe once from a sample or something like that. But 2020. Okay, so 2000. Yeah, 2000. Okay, so there you go. That wasn't that long ago. So this is four. This is port, port 15%, rum 20%, sherry 20%, and bourbon. Excruciatingly bad price for this, but here we go. I mean, to contrast it with the Balblair would be a crime. Oh, what's up? How you doing? Balblair, does that say 21? No, it's like a 15. I do have actually a Gordon MacPhail Balblair 21. Maybe we'll get into that a little later. Daniel says we needed to pop ASAP. It won't. I wouldn't imagine. The nose on this is fucking masterclass, right? Again, not overpowered by rum. I get a lot of the red fruit notes, but everything is in balance. You get a bit of that kind of sweet caramelized sugar rum note. There's a lot of that maltiness from the I guess I would say the bourbon cask. None of that funk, but not overly sweet. So that was the worry. And maybe the port is what's balancing that out a little bit. It depends how dry it was, but this is on the sweeter side, but it's not overly sweet. Would you know it was a Springbank by smelling it? Maybe not. It doesn't have that kind of funk note too much. It's very buried, but the depth here is huge. Tons of different fruit notes. It's orchard fruit and stone fruit is really what's working here. Bourbon cask is kind of just rounding everything out, but it's playing second fiddle for sure. Shit. All right. Well, James Chang is in the house. I wasn't going to drink this before I saw him. It's my friend in Los Angeles. Nice to see you, sir. Springbank 21. Happy 2024, y'all. Here we go. Okay. Yeah. So you notice the rum, but it's meticulous almost in how balanced it is. It never overpowers too much. It's a creamy whiskey. It's got a little bit of that foostiness that was absent on the nose. You're picking it up more in here. It's only 46%, but still sweet red fruits, honey, toffee, apple covered brown sugar or brown sugar covered apples. Then the sweetness is back. Incredibly long finish. You're getting a little bit of that kind of whatever they call it, Dunnage Warehouse, earthy tones. I gotta do another neat sip of this. Fuck, man, that nose just explodes with fresh fruit. It's almost surreal. And yet, if you smell it again behind it, that's where you get the depth. This is, again, I mean, would you expect anything less from the Springbank? This is a great whiskey. You don't even need to like rum to like this whiskey. And that's the thing and I do like rum, but I don't like, as I was mentioning, rum forward whiskeys. It's so well balanced here. It's almost cognac like. It's a bit darker. It's not super sweet. It doesn't taste artificial. It works really well with this bourbon cask. The vanilla notes are coming in really nice. A little bit of oakiness, tons of fresh fruit popping everywhere, but it's not overly sweet. Long finish. Malted milk, vanilla. I mean, this is, yeah. Is it worth $700-800 or whatever the going price is? I mean, that's up to you, but I'd probably say no. You could probably, I mean, you're not going to get an experience like this on their 15, that's for sure, or on their 12 cask strength. But on the value side, 12 cask strength, even at whatever it is now, 250 might be a little bit better, depending on the batch. That all said, yeah, this is a really great whiskey, y'all. I'm really humbled by the fact that I was even able to procure one. I got it at a somewhat decent price. I'd never had Springbank of this caliber before, and so it's been a lot of fun digging into this here. And I'm going to put a couple drops of water on. But yeah, this is, look, Springbank. It's a freaking bummer that the word is out, because there are a few distilleries that are even in the same league as them. And there's probably a bunch of reasons why they're so good at what they do. But yeah, look at that mist coming in. I mean, this is turning cloudy. Oh, man. Pears, ripe pears. If you are like a fan of very fruit-forward whiskeys, but not necessarily like dark red sherry notes, just like fresh golden apple, that type of stuff, it's just explodes out of the glass here. Wow. Stellar. I've never had a 25. I do have a sample of a 22. What is this? 22 Sovereign KNL pick. Maybe we could do that as a little oh no, actually I already drank it. Never mind that. We might be able to do a sample of this 21-year-old batch 3 TBWL. Maybe we'll check that out. But I'll tell you right now, it's a little bit lighter, but it doesn't skimp on the nose or on the mouthfeel at all. You don't even need to like rum to like this. It just builds and builds. What a fucking great whiskey, man. The price sucks, but this is a 4.5 all day. I mean, what can you say? They know what they're doing. I've not had a million Springbanks in my life, so I can't really speak to, their track record, but based on everything I know from whiskey people I respect and, the maybe dozen I've had, they don't miss. They really don't miss. They maybe get experimental and you don't end up liking what they did, but like they really don't miss. And I think it's a testament to their, whatever, their quality standards, their craftsmanship, whatever you want to call it. God damn. Yeah. I mean, this is a 4.5. There's nothing else I can say about it, really. It's an absolute odyssey. I'm thinking back to a Highland Park 21 that I bought that's just like embarrassing compared to this. Damn. Yeah, what can I say? This is great. If you get an opportunity to ever try this at a whiskey bar, I'd recommend you do. Buy it if you have the money to burn on a ridiculously expensive whiskey. But the least you'll know you're buying something that's not going to disappoint you. You're not buying an Aberlour or something else like that. You're buying a serious whiskey from a serious distillery. It's just great. I mean, y'all probably showed up knowing this. I mean, what was was it going to be a bad fucking Springbank 21 sucks? No, that wasn't going to happen. Look at them. Ralphie. How's he doing these days? I haven't watched a Ralphie video in a minute. I got to check in on that guy. How's he doing? Top Shelf Dustin. I have a Springbank 18s have been really good. I don't miss the 21 given the price. Yeah, what's the difference in the price between those two now? I mean, imagine it's probably like double, right? For the 21? That wouldn't be worth it. I don't think I've actually had an 18. I think that's one of the few that I haven't had the 21 or the 25. Mr. White, I've discovered Millstone Single Malt picked up a 20 cask strength Virgin American Oak for $244. Millstone. Are they Canadian? That's dope. Hazelburn 21. Nah, the Hazelburn is probably the only one I wouldn't maybe reach a little bit on price debate for. It's good. I've had good Hazelburn, but I don't know. It's the least of the three for my personal taste. Akeem. New 18 is very nice as well for the price. 2023 18. Really? Okay. I'd love to hear what. Do you know what the maturation is on that 18? I honestly, I don't think I've had an 18, if I'm being completely candid. Wishing they'd just make Hazelburn 18. Yeah. Would you get a Springbank 10 Palo Cortado or Springbank 21? Probably the 21. Well, I mean, what's the price difference? I guess I don't know. Palo Cortado sounds pretty damn good. It's a single cask, I assume. That sounds pretty damn good. But I'd probably get the 21 if it was the same price. Eric has done the experience of the Springbank 20 compared to the experience of the HP 25. Should we do it right now? I don't know. I mean, it's tough. I mean, they're little apples and oranges, but you know, I busted out that Highland Park 25 when the Packers beat the Cowboys. I was hoping to get to drink it again. Yeah, screw it. Let's do it. These are, oh shit. These are about the same price. And before the comments go, yes, I know this is a newer 25. Yes, I know the older ones are better. I know all that. So we can, that said. Highland Park 25, I think I paid about the same price for these. So this is from 2022. 12 casks, 5 first fill sherry seasoned in Europe, 5 first fill sherry seasoned European oak hogsheads. Jesus. 2 first fill sherry seasoned American oak, 5 virgin American oak hogsheads. So there you go. It is bottled at 46%. I have a clean Glencairn here. Let's do a little comparison. Anybody else got opinions on Highland Park 25? I'd love to hear it. Personally, I think it's amazing. I actually, one of the better samples I've ever got the opportunity to taste was from Mike, he's from Dustin and him do that channel now, Top Shelf Whiskey. So go check that out if you haven't subscribed to them. But Mike sent me a sample of a Highland Park 25 from probably, and I think there's a live stream about this. It must have been like a 2000, bottled in 2014, 13, you know, when they had the 45.7 ABV. I don't know. But it was stellar. This Springbank and the Highland Park 25 are about the same price. The Highland Park might be a little bit more, but whatever. Let's try it. We're going to give that a second. Let me catch up on the chat, y'all. It's getting wild already. 2023 you have is an absolute center, in my opinion. For me, it retains more distillery character. Dude, it's interesting that you say that, because on the nose, you're not quite sure. I wasn't quite sure. I was like, it's sweet. It's not overpowering on the rum note, but then it just, all of that stuff, it didn't really retain that kind of signature Fusi note, which I don't necessarily expect in a 21. Because of the, you get that a lot more in their younger stuff, I think. But yeah, it's an absolute center. You're absolutely right. Yeah, why not? It's been a while, y'all. It's so good to see everybody, and it's great to meet Akeem. Akeem, where are you joining us from? I do like to give shout outs to where people are if you join regularly. So if you wouldn't mind, let me know your area code or your city or your country. Definitely give you a shout out on that the next time. Eric, I'm going to pour my newest Brook Latte. This guy with his Brook Latte. Yeah, there's Top Shelf. This is in the chat. You go smash his subscribe, man. They're good people. And Dustin's all right. I'm just playing with you, man. Indy. Okay, so you're just down the street from me, man. Greetings from Chicago. Akeem is Dustin. That's good. That's good. Okay, let's do a little Springbank. Let's do a little Springbank 21 and a little Highland Park 25. Again, these are very different whiskeys, but whatever. Who cares? We're not fucking scientists here. We're just a bunch of people who like good whiskey, so let's compare them. I ain't going to get all mathematical on it. All right, so we got a little Springbank. We got a little Highland Park. Nose is better on the Springbank. It's richer. It's fuller. What do you think? We get trash talk. Always bring get trash talk. Slightly better than Ohio. Yeah. I mean, oh shit! Is it Burns night? See, this is how much I pay attention. Okay, so I think the Springbank wins on the nose. It's got more range, but this Highland Park is dense. It's got that flinty look. Highland Park is one of my favorite profiles of flavor in Scotch. I don't think that they deliver on it most of the time, unfortunately. Oh, Leo's, what's up? Cheers. It's Burns night, apparently. I totally forgot. Okay, but the palate's where it matters. Let me clean this palate off. Here we go. Highland Park 25. What can be said? It's exactly what you think it is. It's rich. It's complex. Despite all those sherry casks and a lot of them first fill, it's got a ton of depth. Long finish. Nice little heathery peat note. Killer whiskey. Not worth the price. Better than the 21 though. Oh man! And then you get this nice tropical fruit thing at the end. All right, let's go to the Springer. Springer won on the nose. Let's see. This might be tough to beat. Oh my god! The nose on the Springbank. I don't want to belabor this, but like when I said it's got this rum sweetness, it's got this, but everything is in balance. It's just enough. It doesn't get too over the top and drown everything else out. Like you really can pick things out in this whiskey. And I think that that's a hallmark of their craftsmanship. Let's go on the palate here. I don't know, man. These are both great. And honestly, I'm like lucky to be sitting here tasting these. I think the Springbank is better for me because it's more interesting. The Highland Park really does deliver on everything you want it to, but it doesn't quite have that extra spark. And at a whiskey that sometimes is upwards of $900, like, I don't know. I think a discerning whiskey palate might want a little more. The Springbank is a lot more alive. It's a lot more interesting. It's a lot more dynamic. The Highland Park is like a bit more constrained, but it really delivers on what it does. Both great. I think I hang on. Let me do this Highland Park. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't know. Who brought this up? Was that you, Daniel, out there in Texas? This is this is silly. I can't do this in a fair way. I guess it's like if I had the money to only buy one, I think I'd buy the Springer. But this Highland Park is fantastic. This Highland Park demands your attention. I mean, like you want to drink this slow, you want to savor every note, which is not what I'm going to do here tonight, obviously. Daniel says, I tried it, felt like a whiskey event. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing. Well, if I don't have a broken foot, I've got a fractured one, so I guess I'll pour some spring and feet apart. I'm behind. Eric, this Brooklotti is starting to encroach on the Rosebank. Oh yeah, he's got that boy Daniel there has got a 30-year-old Brooklotti indie bottle in his hand, I think. That's what you want, man. Yeah, it's dope. We got 18 folks in, man. It's really great to see everybody, by the way. I hope everybody's New Year's been off to a good start. As I mentioned at the top of the hour, I poured out a little dram for our lost Whiskey Tube comrade, Whiskey Straight Ale. Absolutely great dude. He used to join the chats all the time, and we swapped samples a few times. He passed away a few months back. That really sucked. But as things go, it's cool to be able to hang out with the community again. So it's great to see everybody. I hope everybody's been doing well themselves and enjoying good whiskey. Sometimes that's all you can really ask for. Okay. I don't know. I'm going with the Springbank on this over the 25 Highland Park. I just am. And I love Highland Park, and I wish Highland Park wasn't as goofy as they are. This is not one of their goofy releases, but they definitely have a bunch of goofy whiskeys. Yeah, man, for sure. I poured some Irish for him. Dude, that guy, man, he used to join us from Northern Ireland all the time, man. He would be on the chats all the time. And, like, he'd come in even at late hours, hang out. And, like I said, he was a nice dude, like a really nice dude. His heart was huge, but it was only overtaken by his generosity. Like, we swapped samples a couple times, man. Like, have a fucking pour for that dude. You know, he was going through some stuff, man. I don't know exactly all the details. He was posting stuff on Instagram. It didn't look good. But yeah, he passed away, you know, and it sucks because he was a good dude and he did great reviews, and like he just enjoyed whiskey and enjoyed talking about whiskey with people, and he was a really, really generous, nice guy. And it was really unfortunate to hear that news. So, you know, pour a little out, have a little sip for him. If you knew him or if you know, hung out with him on tube, whatever. I hope he's having a good dram somewhere. That said, these have been both fantastic. Okay, so let's just summarize here. So, like, the Balblair 1999 vintage thing, okay, not great, not bad. Probably overpriced now. Springbank 21's killer. I will have a review coming up. I'm going to, of course, on the Glenmorangie Tale of Tokyo. I don't know what to tell you. You'll have to wait and find out. But if you're the type that is interested in buying such a thing, if you're a Glenmorangie pony like I am, and I get suckered into buying their stuff all the time, they're hit or miss, as you all know. Yeah, he did, man. Yeah, like it was November, December. I don't know exactly. Top D. Yeah, dude. Yeah, he died, man. Yeah, his wife posted something. I think this is like a month or two ago. I don't know. Yeah, exactly, man. He was a good dude, man. Good dude. So yeah, so bummer. I don't know what it was related to or anything like that, but. Okay, we got 17 folks in. 45.7. The Dustin, you know. That's the one I think that Mike sent me. I couldn't tell you the year on it, but that's what he sent me. Man, that was an experience. That was better than this one, for sure. So, as I mentioned, I do have a couple like Japanese travel exclusives that I think I'm going to do that I brought back from Japan, which I'll probably do on the next live stream. So if you're interested in that, we'll check it out. But I think, I'd love to keep going for a little while. So maybe I'll have, you know what? We're going to have an Irish for Al. That's what we'll do. And I got just the one here. One of my favorite finishes or maturations, whatever, ever, when it comes to fortified wines, Marsala. This is a Bushmills 1995 Causeway Marsala cask finish. This is let's see here. I think this one is about 20. Bottled in 2021, distilled 1995. So this is a 26-year-old, 27. It is bottled at a gorgeous 57.8%. Are you kidding? And it has that Marsala finish, which I just absolutely love. This will be a good one to go with here. It's a Protestant whiskey, I know. Bushmills is what it is. Here's what they say. This rare single malt was matured first in Oloroso sherry and bourbon, and before further aging in Marsala wine casks. Of course, it doesn't really tell you how long or anything, but you know, tasting notes, blah blah blah. It is cask strength. It is non-chill filtered, 57.8, all the way from Northern Ireland. I am a huge fan of Marsala casks. I'd be curious if folks want to share, like, when you're thinking about, or like when you're buying a whiskey, are there certain wine finishes or sherry finishes that you gravitate towards, like that'll give you a second look? I mean, for me, Marsala is probably number one. I just absolutely love the flavor profile of Marsala. But I'd be curious if there's other ones that people, you know, really gravitate towards, because honestly, there's so many, right? I mean, and you're seeing it more and more with Scotch as they're trying to kind of, you know, branch out. It seems like, I mean, like Lafroig, while they're not doing a wine cask, that new Lafroig whiskey is all, you know, part of it was this barley, part of it's that. They're trying to get experimental. Obviously, Bruichladdich has been really experimental on that. Bruichladdich is probably one of the distilleries that I've learned the most about whiskey from, just because they have a diversity of cask finishes. So we'll let this Bushmill sit a little bit. I mean, just look at that color, man. 26-year-old Bushmills, cask strength, Marsala. Let's go. All right, let's get back up here. Top D. That's a good question. Indeed. He might have, honestly, man. I mean, it was a few years ago. I don't quite remember, but it was absolutely fantastic. Speaking of Highland Park, anyone got one of these 18-year-old single casks they're doing? No, but actually related to that, has anybody seen the Highland Park 18 Viking Pride travel exclusive in the all black bottle, which is 46%? Has anybody had this? Because I've seen it on sale at some British liquor stores, and it's a 46% Highland Park 18, but I'm sus on the travel exclusive part. Yeah. Oh, I don't know. Did I drop a wire code? If you come for the king, you best not miss. Kind of thing. Yo, I forgot you opened that one. Weird one. Peated Chardonnay is something I see. Got interesting. Okay, Whiskey Nose. Hey, how you doing, man? Thanks for jumping in. Great to see you. What's going on, Marty, with the party? Leo, you're not going to believe this. I'm about to open my first bottle of Albany. Oh, nice, man. Which one you got? Let us know all about it. That's great to hear. Great to have Marty in the house. We got 19 folks in. Yeah. What is your first Albany they're going to be there? I would love to hear about that. In the meantime, oh man, Marsala. There's James Chang, my boy. Have you tried the Glenfiddich 21 Grand Reserva versus the Caribbean cask from 40%? No. Oh wait, yes, I did. When Telix and I were doing our show, he had that 21-year-old Glenfiddich. The fact that I didn't remember it instantaneously probably says what you need to know about it. I probably thought it was just too much rum and not enough anything else other than, which is in contrast to this Springbank. And it was bottled at 40%. You're right. which is just a freaking tragedy. Dude, I don't know. I haven't talked to that cat in probably over a year. I mean, he's got a family. He's doing his thing, I don't know. I mean, we ended our show rather abruptly, I know. But it wasn't because of any like issues between him and I. It was just, it did just run its course, and he had other stuff going on. I don't know what Telex is up to these days. I should text him, see what that boy's up to. I don't live on the East Coast anymore either, and so I don't get the opportunity to go meet him like we used to. But he's a good cat. I don't know if he's put out any content at all recently. I'm sure there's a new art bag coming out that he'll make a video of. Leo, 12 Doublewood from 2008. Oh, nice. I was just talking to somebody about that. I don't think I've ever had a 12 Doublewood. As weird as that sounds, I actually don't think I've had it. I love Balvenie, probably one of my favorite distilleries. But I've never had it. Be curious to hear what you think. I also have a single barrel, 12 single barrel. Yeah, those are really nice. And a 15 Caribbean cask. Okay, cool. I just realized my lunch was Ardbeg 25. Ladies, gents, lock up your daughters. Top D's been drinking top shelf, and he's going to be on the prowl, so look out. Those are some nice whiskeys, Dustin. Telex has done the spots here and there. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. Irish. I love Irish whiskey. This is, again, Bushmills, 1995 Causeway Collection. Sounds like something Bowmore would do. 57.8%, non-chill filtered, natural color, Marsala cask finish. It's probably about 26 years old. We'll raise this up for Whiskey Straight Al. If any of you guys got anything in your glass, do likewise. He was a good man. It's a little belated, but better late than never. It's lunch. Oh, that's so good. Yeah. I'm not even going to lie. I am much more interested in Irish whiskey over the past 2 years than I am bourbon. And for that matter, even like Japanese whiskey, mostly because it's hard to get. But hey, what's up? Declan Cooley. Have you ever tried? I have. And the 14 Nobocastle was my Irish whiskey of the year 2 years ago. That is a damn good whiskey. The 16, I didn't think it was quite as interesting or worth the extra price. That 14 is golden. I think that's the Twinwood. That is a damn good whiskey, man. If you have a bottle of it, enjoy it. Those are really, really good. They're a blender. I'm pretty sure, right? They blend. If I'm not mistaken. It's been a while. But that 14 was killer. Their 12 is fine. The 16 was like, I don't know. I wanted a little bit more, but I think the 14 was the winner by far out of that core range. They also have a 21, but I wasn't going to pay $200 for that after having or $300 after having the 16. Walking. Oh, somebody good. That's bad, man. That's not even the best. It's not even the best of their range. I'll take the yellow spot over the red spot personally. Oh man, did you break your foot, man? I'm sorry. Dude, Nobocastle 14 is awesome. No doubt about it. ML Muser from our friend James Chang. I prefer the Nobocastle 12 to the 14. I thought the 14 was a bit too oaky and not fruity enough. Okay. Interesting. I really love that. I mean, it might just be a personal preference thing there. I thought the 16 was underwhelming. And because the 16 was just bourbon cask, if I'm not mistaken. And I think that it was lower ABV. Yeah, totally. This is probably why I loved it so much. Red Spot sucks. it was disappointing. I remember when it came out, I was like, this is going to be amazing. How can it not be? And it was not quite as great as I wanted it to be. I still think in terms of the stuff you can get other than the Leoville, what is it? Leoville Barton Green Spot, the Bordeaux one. I think the yellow spot's the best thing in their range. I had a red once and didn't want to. Yeah, no, forget that shit. Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's not that good. Blue spot, yeah. They're just too expensive, man. The blue spot's too expensive. Like you get a Redbreast 12 cask strength way cheaper than a blue spot, and it's arguably better in almost every expression that or every year that they put out. Dope. Yeah, that's a nice everyday drinker. I mean, I assumed that it was kind of right in that wheelhouse because I mean, one of my favorite everyday kind of just sip and forget, not, you know, you just want to have a little bit of a dram is like Glengoyne 12 and also Highland Park 12. Those are two of my just kind of go-to standard everydays. And I always thought Balvenie, the Balvenie Portwood would, or not Portwood, the Balvenie would be just similar because it's kind of in that same wheelhouse. That's good to hear. I like the blue spot better than the red. Wow, 110 Canadian. That's a great price for the blue spot. Yeah, it's dope. That's a really good one. They have that. They have another one. You know, there's three. So there's the Chateau whatever, which we all know, and that one's not great. Then there's the Bordeaux, which is great, and then there's another one called something about like a bird or some shit, and you can get it in Ireland or have it shipped. I don't know the details on it, but I know they have like a third kind of wine cask, higher ABV green spot. Cooley. Yeah, man. Yeah, dude. The Redbreast 21 is that's euphoria. Euphoric whiskey. I'm a huge fan. I have a couple Redbreast cask strengths from 2022, which is a really nice batch. If you ever see a B122, grab it without hesitation from the Redbreast 12 cask strength. It's a really great whiskey. Highly recommend it. The other Redbreast. Oh, I have this like wacky single cask 22-year-old Oloroso I got, which isn't as good as I wanted it to be. And then I do have a 27, which I splurged. That was my splurge last year. This year was the Springbank 21. Yeah, quail. That's right. Quail's something. I have never seen it in the U.S., man. Luis, what's up? Man, it's good to see you. Happy New Year, man. Solange, great to have you in the house. Yeah, Redbreast 21 slaps, man. That's a great whiskey. Yeah, it is. It is. It's silly. It's just silly. That's all you can really say about it. Yeah, definitely. Theo, I have the Irishman 2017. That's a great whiskey. Dustin, I remember Dustin's a big fan of that one. Irishman 2017 single cask. It's a good one. Dude, absolutely. That's a stellar whiskey. I mean, you're gonna have to pay a little bit for it, you know, as you, I'm sure you've seen, but like it's worth it, man. It's such a journey. It's a relaxed whiskey. It's also exciting. Like you can really enjoy that whiskey in multiple ways, I feel. You can sip on that thing and just let it flow. You can also like go digging into that and really try and like pick out different flavors. I loved the 21. And you know, I mean, it's around 250, 270 nowadays here. I still feel like I would pay that for it. I think it's worth it. It's a really great whiskey. Oh, okay. So it's a wine cask. Good to know. Yeah, dude, that's the same thing that's happened here in the last couple of years. I mean, it was 200. Now it's like almost 300, 270 or so. Has anybody had it? I mean, I want to drink it. I love Irish whiskey. I'll drink that. I just don't know if I should buy it. Yeah, okay. I'm not as familiar with Writer's Tears. I should be. I'll tell you this though. Bushmills, this Bushmills Causeway collection is fantastic. As I was mentioning earlier, like I'm a huge fan of Marsala cask. Port Charlotte MC01. This, I have a two Bunnahabens in Marsala. I love Marsala, and these are both. I don't know if any of them stand up to this Bushmills. This is just fantastic, and this is single malt, by the way. It's not a pot still; it's a single malt. Poland, nice man. What's up? How's it going over there, dude? 150, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, 12 single cask is good. It's very different than the 12 double wood. Just so you know, like the 12 single cask is a much more edgy, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's a much more like what's the word? How would you describe a Balvenie 12 single cask? It's a little more old school. You have a little bit more like warehouse influence. You have a little bit more the still influence. It really kind of is malt forward instead of cask forward, which shouldn't take away from it because it's a really nice whiskey. So if you can find one, definitely get it. Quails and Redbreast was not impressed. 244 in Canada. Well, I mean, that's might be the best you can get. I don't see it much cheaper than that here. Yeah, you remember when those were affordable? Fuck. I think I still have one back there that's like, you have to look at the bottles because some of them are first fill and some were second fill, and you had to see which ones were darker. I mean, now it's like I won't even look at them. They're like over $200 for the 15 sherry casks. It's ridiculous. Nice. Yeah, old school. Yeah. Sour notes. Yeah. It's a foosty whiskey, man. It's definitely going to give you a different experience than I imagine the 12 double would. I've not had it, but judging by it's probably a much more cask forward. Sonara. I've never had the loose style. That's one of the few that I've not of their core range I haven't had. How would you compare Bushmills 22 to others? Well, like the thing about Bushmills, so like this one, for example, I've not had a lot of Bushmills. This is a single malt, so you're not getting that pot still. So like comparing it to the Redbreasts or the spots is a little difficult, right? Because it doesn't have that same kind of green bready quality to it like you get in a nice Redbreast. So this is a bit more Scotch like and is very cask forward, but the complexity and nuance is there. I mean, I think this is a great whiskey. Hey, what's up? What's up? You want to come up? Come here. I know. Winston the Whiskey Cat's coming back. Here he is. What's up, buddy? What do you think of the Bushmills? He's a very discerning palate. See, he don't want none of it. How you doing, brother? So yeah, it's hard to compare them because of this, just the nature of the malt. I personally like the pot still style of Irish more, which is like again the Redbreast. I think there's a couple others that have an Irishman up there that's similar. But I think that this is a really great showcase of like Irish single malt. I mean, it doesn't have any like characteristics that are going to make you think this is an Irish whiskey off the bat, but the balance and complexity of the casks here, especially with something that's very a powerful flavor like Marsala, it really does hit. It just doesn't have that same when you drink a Redbreast, you're drinking a Redbreast, I love Napo Castle 14. That's a great whiskey. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna actually. I have a decent amount of Balvenis. I think we're soon going to be doing a Balvenie 25 tasting. I think. So I'm going to have that coming up live. I have a couple lives coming up. I'm thinking about, ahead, and just for folks who've like hung out on the channel before. The last 6 to 8 months, 9 months, I've been a little bit lower on the content, quite lower, a little bit off the grid. But I'm gonna start putting out stuff a little bit more regularly than I have been of late. So I'll try to be doing a live or two every month, and then I'll also have some reviews. So I'll have the Tale of Tokyo review coming up soon. I have a couple other reviews in the hopper. So if you haven't subbed yet and you like the content, man, hit that sub. It'll be fun. I'll have a couple of those coming up in the next few weeks. But with that, again, I really appreciate everybody hanging out. It's so cool to see everybody. I am going to take this Bushmills and ride it off into the sunset here for now. But I'll be back soon. We'll have another live soon. And keep your eyes out for the Tale of Tokyo review, and then I'll have a couple other reviews coming up pretty soon. So again, I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you guys all had nice holidays and New Year's, and everybody's off to a good start. And it was really great to see everybody in the chat, man. Appreciate you all. Every time I come back to hang out on the live, it's great to reconnect with folks. So appreciate you all. Wish you all the very best. I'll catch you all soon. Slan Shava.